Ladies and gentlemen, it's Thursday. I'm going to go live with my radio/TV syndicated transmission in exactly 45 minutes. And we are going to lay out today on air the biggest, most important information we've ever covered. Now, we've covered parts of this before, but now from mainline scientific journals and public sources, as well as private sources, we have the complete admitted global master plan of the 5G networks, of the wireless systems mounted on aircraft, passenger aircraft, used to distribute a total web of control, the ground-based cell towers, the governmental announcements worldwide of making it ubiquitous, where it's everywhere, and hundreds of mainline studies that regular cell phone technology for 30 years has been known to cause hundreds of millions of cancers, conservatively in the Western world, and that 5G and its millimeter waves is even more deadly and actually destroys oxygen, carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And so it will burn the atmosphere, including, wait for it, ozone. We have mainline journals of science, everything. It burns the atmosphere. Cars put out carbon dioxide that plants need to live. So they list that as the toxin, and then they create something that destroys oxygen, carbon dioxide, and that also makes it where cells can't absorb water. And I'm going to show you mainstream article after mainstream article, even from 10 years ago. Cell phones break the DNA. They vibrate the water like a microwave. They are microwave radiation. It's not like a microwave. It is a microwave. And what's incredible is the government documents that are now out where they admit it's a depopulation plan. So it sterilizes you, it lowers your fertility, sterilizes many, causes cancer. But also, I'm going to show you declassified CIA documents that are in Popular Mechanics, just last week, admitting that they have carrier waves over the millimeter waves where they can make you sexually aroused, nauseous, depressed, angry, just like the first Kingsman. They just throw it out in Hollywood. And that's why they have shows like Better Call Saul, where they admit that Homeland, Better Call Saul, all the major Netflix shows, all the major HBO shows go and meet at Langley, Virginia once a year. They rotate through different times of the year, but at least once a year per production crew. And they're told what to put in it. And that's even in the news that Better Call Saul was basically told by Hollywood to have a character who thinks that there's cell phone radiation making him sick. That's what's crazy. We have thousands and thousands of articles, documents admitting it's all real. And then they have just TV shows everywhere where you're crazy if you think it's an issue. Just like Ben Shapiro came out yesterday and his whole atheist movement that's taken over all the big conservative sites and the rest of it with Jordan Peterson. And so it's how the left's taken over the conservatives. And when the left doesn't censor him and promotes him everywhere, he's the replacement to Glenn Beck. That's admitted, because Glenn Beck failed taking over the conservative movement. So he's the replacement. And he's just a microcosm of this. He attacked me saying Jones thinks the frogs are gay. I can show you 5,000, because I just searched it this morning, 5,000 articles on Google going back 30 years, 40 years, where top scientists say it's making the frogs sterile and it's making them homosexual, where the males go and try to impregnate females, try to fertilize males, the eggs, instead of females. That's what frogs do. They sit on the back of the other frog, and then the eggs come out, and the male fertilizes them. They don't want the females. They go and try to fertilize the male. And then they make jokes, and David Hogg goes on TV and attacks me for it. It's a talking point. Every time Colbert attacks me, he works that in, because they want it to be a joke. Jones says there's chemicals in the water hurting you. Ha, 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 ha. So they're attacking us on the wireless radiation. They're attacking us on that because they don't want to cause a debate. They put out the lower power stuff first, get you all acclimated to it. They had studies 50 years ago knowing what this would do. You accept it, becomes part of your life, it becomes ubiquitous. I'm shooting these live feeds right now on so-called smartphones. They're really little computer robots that track everything you do. But there's so much more to it. I remember 6 years ago when Kinect came out from Microsoft, their answer to the Xbox or whatever, Sony and all the rest of it. And it's like, oh, it watches you when you play the game. It scans you when you're playing. Yeah, and then they admitted, and hackers got into them and said, look, it can see through not just one wall, but 3 walls. 3 non-brick walls, 1 brick wall. And so it was seeing through 3 rooms, and it was somebody in a shower, 3 rooms back, through a bedroom, and you could see everything, including the guy's genitals in front of the game playing. Just like the millimeter scanners at the airports. That's what it is. You've seen this in Hollywood or wherever, like futuristically, the troops are invading someplace and they detonate a deal, or they send a probe in, and then it goes bzzz, and shoots light out, and then all of a sudden they can see who's hiding behind things, or they can see where somebody was, where they walk, because it even picks up the electrons and ions that are in the air. They go bzzz. That's what they are. You see, but they're in your house going, and it sees everything through walls, through your clothes. They can just dial up the res, and it's automatic to look through your clothes, look through the wall, look through the next wall, and here's the added thing. It's killing you. It's pulverizing your DNA. It's pulverizing your cells. It's pulverizing your mitochondria. This was 5-6 years ago. You can pull up articles on Infowars.com. Then years later, it would be on Gizmodo or CNET. And we're sitting here looking at this. So now the 5G is even more powerful. They've got 5G coming in on your smart meters. They then interface with everything in your house and track you, but can physically see you. They can turn them on and bzzz, always be seeing what you're doing, or just have them bzzz, turn on every once in a while to then interface with everything else in your house, just like your cell phone does. You ever notice you'll have your cell phone sitting on a computer by some wires? Every couple minutes you'll hear a bzz, bzz, bzz. That's not, and no one's calling, but it goes bzz, bzz, bzz. That's because it's chirping to the cell tower and giving data triangulation, coordinates to GPS, everything. And it's all military globalist designed for a total 360 grid in the real world. But here's the issue, and I'm going to cover it all today. It's going to be so much more. I'm going to do this for hours. With all the admissions, they resonate at frequencies that burn oxygen, carbon dioxide, and ozone. That's how you'd kill the planet. So these things are cooking the atmosphere. Then you got all the Doppler radar over every town. There's DARPA documents out, just like I was told by guys that worked on it 20 years ago. And then the guy got so freaked out, he just ran off to Montana, but he was an engineer who worked on them. He said, Alex, we're putting power in 10 times what these Dopplers need. And he was showing me patents and stuff and saying it's for weather control. They can ionize the atmosphere and either make it not rain or make it rain. A decade later, it was in the Daily Mail and Associated Press. Dubai's making the desert green. They have things like cell phone towers, but they project up and are more powerful and control the weather. And I'm like, holy Toledo. I mean, that's what I'm telling you, folks. All this racism stuff and all this other stuff is important, but compared to how we're all being fried by radiation, I have children. And it's so ubiquitous, they all want cell phones. And I've got one because it's so useful, but I put the thing away. I turn it off when I'm not using it. I put it inside, the block it pockets and stuff you can get. We need to start selling those again. I think we actually do sell them. The point is so that it's got a Faraday cage around it, so it's not frying you when you're not using it, and so you're not being tracked. They have Hollywood entertainment making you think you're a kook or making you think you're stupid if you talk about this stuff, but that's entertainment. The real science says this is happening, and what's crazy is I can't get people concerned about it. But we've got World Health Organization documents, CDC documents we're going to show today where they admit that it's making people sick, and it's giving people cancer, and it's making allergies worse because your body's all whacked out, doesn't know what's going on. Your white blood cells start flipping out. They don't know what's happening. It's connected to the honeybees dying along with the pesticides. They've got big university studies in Germany and Russia and Japan where near cell towers, the honeybees don't know exactly what they're doing because they're being blasted with radiation. Again, I remember more than 10 years ago reading Washington Post articles where they'd say, oh, when you use a cell phone for more than 5 minutes to the side of your head, on average it heats the area through the skull 1 degree, scientists show. 1 degree. It's actually raising the temperature of your body. And the studies also show, write all this down, cell phone studies show it excite you. The radiation going through your brain actually, for a time, is an excitotoxin, basically, an electrochemical excitotoxin trigger. And these are all Journal of Medicine terms I'm giving you, but this is the main science. And people get addicted to the radiation, just like many other poisons are addicting. But here's the other thing. Fluoride destroys the blood-brain barrier, and so then it allows all these other toxins to get through into the body, and it shows that cell phones resonate at a frequency now that actually breaks the blood-brain barrier. And we're going to show studies on that where they inject rats with dye into their hearts. None of it can get the brain. It goes to every part of the body. The bone marrow, the tissue, the intestines, every part of the rat turns blue. They inject them with radiation, radioactive dye as well. We're going to show these studies on television today, Infowars.com, in about 30 minutes. But when they put them in a chamber with regular cell phone radiation, what happens? Brain goes blue. Your regular shield, man. You've got a shield around your brain, blood-brain barrier, so that your brain keeps clean. And now we wonder why there's all these neurological disorders. And that's why it makes me sick when I watch these technocrats that have sold out the system. They're being given scripts to come out and attack us on the chemicals and our fertility. And now the 5G is the big rollout plan. And it is going to take sperm counts that are down almost 90%. Way past that. The infertility, just get ready, folks. You've been warned. We got to do something now. And here's the thing. Trump said he knew the vaccines were damaging people, which is admitted. They have a secret vaccine fund that pays out billions since 1984. And it's in all the studies. The inserts say they can kill you. They go on the news and say, oh, it's perfectly safe. No one ever got hurt. Total lies. As everybody knows, how many of you have friends or family got sick from vaccines or died? I mean, everybody knows. Everybody's been sick themselves usually. Anybody in the military will tell you that, yeah, they used to give the platoon shots and 15 people pass out. Usually, every year somebody die from them. But, I know people in this building who are in the military and they go, oh, you're off on deployment. Well, government takes care of your year-old baby. We'll give them vaccines. Baby died. I'm going to leave it at that. She doesn't mind if I talk about it, but she doesn't want me to say her name. Somebody 50 feet from me who lost their daughter from this. I mean, this isn't a joke, folks. So when it hurts you, no one's going to be there for you. This is depopulation. And it's a total plan, and it makes me sick. Now, I like Trump and nationalism and get control of our country back from the globalists, but that's only one small step, and it's not even complete. But we need to talk about the 5G. We need to say no. They've already got us accepting all the other stuff frying us, and the cell towers on top schools and all this insanity. We're baking ourselves. We're killing ourselves. The radiation is negligible when it's a wire, just electricity into a wall. And you get a better connection to the internet anyways. But they're laughing at us while we want to download movies in a fraction of a second when it's killing us. And cell phones, 5G, smart appliances, smart meters, gaming consoles are all watching you. They all have sensors now with any wireless through the entire spectrum to bounce it out, bounce it back like sonar or radar, and get all the data back. More human than human, better eyesight than the human eye, seeing through walls, little robots in your house. And of course they activate the camera and watch and listen with AI. That's all admitted too. You put little Alexas in your house and little Google assistants. Look at what they've done. Imagine a science fiction movie where aliens get control of the central government. They give them advanced technology 100 years ago and work with the elite to roll out this plan that by the time we wake up to it, it's already too late. Now, I'm not saying it's aliens, but silicon is a new life form. All these human-animal hybrids are new life forms. The aliens are now here amongst us, and the globalists believe they're transcending humanity. They say they're accelerating evolution. They're throwing it in your face, and this is the emergency transmission. This is affecting you. Most people have been put into a suspended disbelief fairy tale land of almost a dream state, a spell. People have been put into a trance. That's the medical term. And so it's all like entertainment you're hearing. And you're pre-programmed to laugh at me, hoping they've turned off your life essence, hoping they've turned off your resistance, hoping they've turned off your common sense, hoping they've turned off your will to survive, your life force, your fighting spirit. It's time to man up, folks. But a lot of men are just acting too cool and acting, like they are Mr. Tough Guy and everything. So it's up to the women out there. Do your own research. You got bisphenol A out of the plastics that was, messing up the endocrine systems of your kids and stuff like that. They made fun of you 20 years ago. Now it's out. Women, they're trying to pre-program you with all these attacks on us because we're breaking this down. You can check it out for yourself, but Google's hiding these results more and more. So we're going to put all of it on TV today, 30 minutes, Infowars.com/show, and TV and radio stations around the country. And again, these are all great technologies, except they kill us. They're called Trojan horses. It looks nice, looks like a gift from the gods, Promethean fire, but everything it does is dehumanize us, makes us lonely, makes us depressed. All the studies are out, breaks up our families, lowers the amount of language we use. It's killing us. It's killing us. Everything is dehumanizing us. This is a plan. Now, what are you going to do about it? Please spread the word about the broadcast coming up in 30 minutes. Please do the research for yourself. Your family and the future of humanity depends on it. And that's my final point. Why the future doesn't need us. The world without humans. Oh, everybody knows there's too many people. Okay, great. The world's a bad place. Screw it. That's kind of the idea. Oh, everybody knows they're depopulating. Yeah, there's too many people. Well, you're acting like you're part of the establishment. You're not. You're going to die. Your kids are going to die. You're being programmed. You're being poisoned. It'll be real when you're dying. All the studies show cancer, depression, diabetes, everything's exploding. This is by design. So get out of the trance. And I know a lot of you are already out of it, and get serious, and let's force this out into an open debate. That's why they want to shut InfoWars down, because we're exposing all this. Oh, when one child dies and they want your guns, they humanize the child, everybody knows their name, they make everybody cry. They turn our emotions on and off. But when they don't want us to know about it or do anything, it's like, big deal. Cancer's up tens of thousands of % in kids. Big deal. 80 million girls estimated been killed in China by the government. Even the Washington Post goes, but it looks like millions hid for years in their houses and were never registered. And I did a story on that. Like, wow, millions of women hiding in China for years in their basements. And no one even cares. It's dehumanization. If you don't care about that, and the fact that communist China is funded by the Rockefellers and the globalists, and it's even in the Wall Street Journal that Oprah Winfrey met with the Chinese leadership and met with David Rockefeller and Ted Turner at these yearly meetings, and they're trying to set up a way to sterilize everybody without you knowing, and it's all it's all coming out. Let's have a debate about it. But if you can't even have a debate about it, the establishment's view is you deserve to die. Well, here's the deal. I don't deserve to die. I'm smart. I know what's going on. And then they tell me, off-record conversations, well, Alex, see, so you're supposed to be one of us. What, I know what you're doing and I care, so I'm one of you? No, you're the bad guys. I don't want to be part of this. And the answer is, well, if you want to save your family, you ought to join the team and put your input into it. Come up with a better plan. I've told you this stuff for years. These people are smart. People are like, oh, Jones just saying that to act important. Important? Hundreds and hundreds of articles a day saying we should be shut down, demonizing us? We got their number, folks. You're getting the truth right now. Now, it's up to you whether you want to live or not. I've warned you. Live in 25 minutes. God bless you.